Real quick before we jump into the video, guys, for the rest of this year I'm going to be on a fundraising campaign to raise a minimum of £1,000 for the Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. For more information on the charity and what it does, and for the donation links, please look in the description below. And thank you all for your continued support. Enjoy the show. What's going on, guys? Rivalry Teacher Nels, and we're back with the RBL week number 2. Your Bournemouth Rebellions are taking on the San Fran Falcons and Coach Hot Wings. Hot Wings is a pretty interesting opponent, pretty new to competitive from what I understand, but he's got a pretty scary team, and he did actually win his week 1 match, so of course we unfortunately lost in a pretty nail-biting series to Ben. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. That was such a fun series. Definitely an entertaining start to the season. So, looking at his draft, there's definitely some good components to this draft, but there's a lot of problems too, and we'll talk about that. And the vast majority of his problems come from a lot of duplicate typings. Obviously, we do have the Rain Core with the Palapalapras and Kingdra sitting there. Togekiss is kind of nice for redirection, but then we start seeing like double flying with Togekiss and Pelipper, or triple actually, because Landorus as well. Although with Landorus being part ground type, it doesn't have as many weaknesses as the others. Scolipede, Galvantula, Dottler are all bug types, which is a little bit of a problem. So, and of course we have the double grounds and the Diglett and the Landorus. So, a lot of duplicate typings here that also don't have the best synergies with each other. Obviously his Rain Core is definitely scary, but G-Max Lapras is very, very annoying, particularly if it's allowed to get off a G-Max Resonance. That does a hell of a lot of damage, and it sets up a Aurora Veil, which is not particularly fun. Also, things like Max Geysers are definitely scary, especially if this is a policy set. Could also be a Light Clay set, and the policy could be somewhere else, but I feel like Lapras pretty much always has policy on this team. Landoi, pretty darn strong. Does have Sheer Force as its ability, of course, which means it can hit really, really hard, particularly with things like Rock Slide and stuff like that. It is, of course, outpaced by Pheromosa and stuff like that, so it could well be forced to run Scarf, which I wouldn't be too surprised to see it. But yeah. Scarf Landoi is no one near as good as Lando T in that regard, in my opinion, but it is good. It is a good max target as well, by virtue of the fact that Quake and Airstream are like its 2 weakest stats, so being able to buff it is pretty nice. Pelipper, of course, primary range setter, being quad weak to electric kind of forces it almost to run Focus Sash, particularly as I have a Thunderous on my team, so it's definitely kind of a scary thing. Pelipper gets outsped pretty easily, so maybe the Scarf has to be here as well. It's difficult to kind of decide on that one. But Pelipper definitely, almost definitely has to come, in my opinion. If you want to bring a Weatheror against me, like having to max and set up Geyser is probably not the way to play against me, given the fact I have a Torkoal. So, I do think Pelipper comes, but it'll be interesting to see how he uses it. Scolipede's pretty fast, does hit pretty hard as well. Obviously, with access to Speed Boost, it can easily outpace my Pheromosa after a Protect. So that's something to consider. It does hit relatively hard, but I do have a Torkoal that can eat its hit, unless it Swords Dances, and even then I can still take at least one. And then I just blow it back with a Lava Plume or a Max Flare, something like that. Galvantula kind of in the same boat, really fast special attacker. Does get Thunder, which is always a problem. Does get moves like Electro Web for speed control. So definitely something to consider. If it does come, likely Focus Sash. Also possible for Scolipede to be Focus Sash as well. So things like that could be a thing. Even Pelipper could be sashed, I guess. But I don't think so. Type Null, pretty good bulky. He's support mon. Not the best, but actually decent. Bulky normal type with battle armor is always handy, because then it avoids crits, which on the result of last week we're pretty unfortunate against, so that's not bad. Dottler is his new pickup. He dropped Impidib for it. It's very bulky, bug psychic type. Doesn't really tend to do much though, other than just sit there. So I'm not sure what Dottler's going to bring to his team, but we'll see. Togekiss, of course, decent max target, gets a lot of coverage moves. Also a very, very good supportive Pokemon as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if this was more of a support enabler on this team. Things like Follow Me and stuff like that I could definitely see coming. Kingdra, of course, his primary range sweeper, with Swift Swim, and could be physical or special, but it's more likely going to be special to take advantage of things like Hurricane. Definitely worth it in that regard. So always an interesting one. And then last but by no means least is Diglett. Diglett, aside from being relatively fast and having Arena Trap, kind of just doesn't do anything. So if Diglett does come, it's probably not gonna be anything other than Focus Sash, which will kind of make it awkward for the rest of the team. But trapping can be important, but obviously, given the fact I have so much power on this team, Diglett kind of feels a little bit redundant. So, with all that being said, let's talk about our team. I do want to preface this slightly by the fact that I've not had a lot of time to prep. We are actually playing this match in the week, which I don't normally do, mostly because I don't have a lot of time to prep during the week. But we are going to look at our names, and because Hot Wings is a family-friendly channel, we are going to do a lot more tamer names than I would normally do. You guys know me, I like to have a bit of fun with my nicknames, but they're all plays on his name, just for a bit of fun. So, leading the charge, we have Hot Horns, the Ndidi, rocking leftovers this week. Last week we brought offensive with Choice Specs. This week we are bringing fully Spadef with Trick Room. Trick Room is going to be pretty interesting in this matchup. Obviously, with the Weather War, Kingdra will generally outspeed everything on my team anyway. So if I can actually reverse the speed order and get into Trick Room, we can really start doing a lot of damage here. Helping Hand, Ally Switch, and Expanding Force, very, very solid on this set. Expanding Force does a hell of a lot of damage, even without investment, because of that 105 base special attack. So it's definitely pretty handy for us. If we can get up Trick Room, I think Torkoal can just blow him up, because Torkoal has a lot of power against his team. So that's something to bear in mind. So if we can get Trick Room up, we're in a great spot. We are sassy, of course, because we want as much Spadef as possible. Yes, I could have put a little bit of physical defense on this for Scolipede, but I'll be honest, like, if Scolipede's in against Ndidi, then there's probably something wrong, and I can just click Expanding Force, so I don't think it's the hugest deal that I don't have that much physical defense on this thing. Next up is the aforementioned Torkoal, the Hot Shells, of course. We're running Expert Belt. We're actually running fully offensive. We are max HP, max special attack, quiet. We are essentially just going to try and nuke him with Torkoal. So the plan here is to get Sun up under Trick Room and then just blow him back. That's essentially the plan here. Lava Plume, Solar Beam, Earth Power hits pretty much everything on his team. Obviously, Protect is always handy to have, especially if we max it and it goes for a double up onto me. We can burn a ton of their max and still actually do a lot of damage. This pretty much hits everything except Landorus. There wasn't really a move that Torkoal gets that hits Landorus, because ground flying is an awkward typing to cover for. But nonetheless, this all hits pretty hard anyway. I did consider Ancient Power to take on the bugs, but it's not worth it when Lava Plume just does more damage. But yeah, nonetheless, we are fully offensive Torkoal this week. We were Assault Vest fully Spadef last week, so different set, different style, which is exactly what this team is good for. Next up, we have Hot Spines, the Steelix, rocking the Psychic Seed and Sturdy. We are max HP, max attack. We're actually running this pretty offensive with Curse Body Press, Gyro Ball, Rock Slide. This is kind of risky. I'm not running Protect. I might choose to run Protect over Gyro Ball, but I opted for Gyro Ball because it does more damage into Togekiss, which was kind of the aim here. It also does more into Landorus as well, so it gives me a way to hit both of them. Obviously, the Psychic Seed giving us a special defense boost in Psychic Terrain. Definitely very handy for us, and if we can get Trick Room up and get up a Curse, Body Press just blows back most of this team, barring the bugs, which get blown up by Rock Slide. So, pretty darn strong. We are Brave Nature, of course. We want as low speed as possible to be advantageous under Trick Room. Next up, we have Hot Thighs, the Lilligant, rocking the Wide Lens like we did last week. This is probably about the closest to the same EV spread, because it is max HP, max speed. This is to take advantage of it in Sun. This actually outspeeds Kingdra in Rain, funnily enough. But yeah, so if I can get Sun up, this thing will outpace everything on his team. And actually, we're running a slightly different set this week. We're running Solar Beam for damage options. We are still running Sleep Powder, but we're actually running After You. After You is an interesting little move that bumps up the priority of its target. So this could actually be helpful for Ndidi to set up Trick Room, if I opt to go for that. And then, of course, Protect to try and get us to live a hit. Solar Beam actually does a lot in Sun, even without special attack investment, especially on things like the Lapras. Obviously, I do need to be careful about weakness policy. I debated on Giga Drain instead, just to be a little bit more consistent, but given the fact that I back myself to win a Weather Wall matchup, and this is kind of more supportive anyway, I'm kind of okay with just having Solar Beam here. Next up, we have Hot Hips, the Pheromosa, rocking the Focus Sash. Not too surprised to see that. We're running a little bit of speed. The reason we're running this is because I cannot outspeed Kingdra in Rain anyway. So we are running enough speed to outspeed Scolipede, which is the fastest base speed on his team outside of Rain. So we ran enough speed to outspeed that. So we are pretty much max attack. Well, we're adamant max attack, with the rest of it in HP and about 76 speed. This allows me to outpace the Scolipede. And we are rocking Close Combat Outrage, Triple Axle, and Protect. We could potentially max this. Maxing this is not a bad option. Especially if I compare this up with the next Pokemon on my team, which is going to be interesting. Triple Axle, of course, one-shots the Landorus, so always handy to have that, especially as we comfortably outspeed it. Obviously, if it maxes, then that's a different story, but we can also max ourselves, and max Hailstorm will still one-shot it, so that's the thing, unless it's Yachi Berry, which it could well be, but we live any hit from it, so that's the thing. Outrage is actually really nice because it one-shots the Kingdra, assuming the Outrage lands on it. Obviously, we can max Whirlwind and guarantee the knockout, so that's always handy, and of course, Close Combat. Pretty heavy stab of choice. Yes, there's 3 bugs and a couple of flying types on this team. But if I can get a max knuckle into the Lapras after policy, or if it's not policy and it screens, this does a hell of a lot of damage either way. Plus, it also blows back the type null. So, not too bad an option there. And last but by no means least, we have Hot Pex, the Thundi. We're running our Salt Vest offensive this week with Defiant. We were Prankster last week, but we're running full offense. Max speed, max attack. This allows me to outspeed basically everything. I think we speed tie Scolipede. But other than that, we are good. We are Wild Charge, Superpower, Fly, U-Turn. Potential max target if we need to max it. It is EV to be slightly slower than Pheromosa, unfortunately. Pheromosa just about outspeeds it. I think this might be only outsped by Scolipede by 1 point, which could be a little bit unfortunate, but yeah. Nonetheless, this is a pretty solid pair-up with Pheromosa anyway because of the sheer speed. So I can essentially get a speed up or get a buff up with the attack from the Max Knuckle on Pheromosa, and then just hit like a truck with any of these moves, really. Fly is kind of sneaky because it's a good way to deal with any of the bugs except Galvantula. Galvantula could be a little bit annoying, but I have a Torkoal that blows it back, so I'm not really concerned about that. But yeah, that's going to be the team we're rocking out with. Different team, different look to what we brought last week. Obviously, we only brought 1 Pokemon different. No Grimmsnarl this week. Thought about Grimmsnarl, but I didn't really like any set into Grimmsnarl. You know, Landorus gets Sludge Wave, stuff like that. Scolipede hits me pretty hard. So I didn't really feel comfortable. Togekiss as well. It's like there's too many things that Grimmsnarl doesn't do well into. Yes, it does well into Kingdra, but that's about it. But Kingdra also gets Flash Cannon, so I didn't feel comfortable bringing it. And then some of the other stuff, I was debating on Munchlax. Munchlax had a potential spot on this team, but I think Steelix just does a bit of a better job, especially out of Rain. So that's what we're going for. So that's the team we're rocking out with. I wish I had a bit more time to prep this one. I feel like I may have made a couple of mistakes, but we shall find out. Of course, we will take you straight into the battle. So, see you in a bit. Alrighty then, guys, we are connected up with our boy Hot Wings. Good luck, have fun, of course. You can see the 6 I'm bringing up there, and you can see the 6 I think he's bringing down below the screen. I definitely think there's a lot of room for maneuver with this team. It's kind of difficult to know what he's going to pick, because obviously his Rain Core is really good, and then the rest of his team, difficult to know what you build around. I could definitely see a potential Scolipede coming, which is why we've got Steelix. Because Steelix is going to be really good. Of course, if you skip the team builder, if you're one of those guys that only wants to watch the battle, go watch the team builder. You actually get a full in-depth of this. Because while this team might look similar to last week's team with the exception of Steelix over Grimmsnarl, this team is actually very, very strong. And it's got a lot of different sets in it to what we bought last time, which is the main strength of this team. So, good luck, have fun. Hot Wings, let's see what you bought for us. Alright. Almost exactly what I expected. No, Lando brought Scolipede instead. Okay. So that's perfectly okay. So all of this team except Scolipede is special, which means I really like Thundurus here. The question is, what do I want to pair with it? I think Thundurus Pheromosa feels pretty good. We'll try this anyway, and then we can always bring Sun in the bag. That might not be a bad option. I think Steelix is kind of average in this game. Trick Room is a possibility. It's definitely viable. Let's try to outgun it speed-wise, I think. We'll see what he opts to lead. Bit of a risky game one, but we'll see. This is kind of an interesting matchup, especially as he brought Scolipede. Alright, let me find Scolipede Sprite. Alright, there we are. Alright. Let's see what you're gonna lead with. We're gonna lead our speed matchup. Queendra is Kingdra, and Rainstick is Pelipper. Okay. So, obviously setting up the rain is a little annoying. But I don't think it's the worst here. So, I actually kind of like saving my Thunderous here and just going straight into Torkoal. And then I can max Wormwind into the Kingdra. I mean, he could max this Kingdra, which would be really annoying. But we are Focus Sash on the Pheromosa, so... And of course, because we are going to deny Rain here, by switching in Torkoal, we will be faster with our Pheromosa. So, definitely interesting. It's kind of what I expected him to lead. So, I could have just led Torkoal, but we are gonna just switch it in, deny the Sun. Because he probably Hurricanes and then moves into Kingdra anyway. So, we are gonna max. We are faster than this Kingdra now, so this Kingdra's not Scarfed, or neither is this Pelipper. So, that's good to know. Also, interesting fact, Hurricane in Sun is only 50% accurate, so there's a pretty good chance that this Pelipper misses its Hurricane unless it went for Scald. Let's see. No max. This is gonna die. This Kingdra is gone. Nice. Alright. Queendra is gone to the max Wormwind, which is really, really nice. So we got a max Pheromosa off here, which is very, very interesting. This is what I mean. Alright, this is why this is so good. And because we are slow, we got an attack boost here. Actually, Tailwinds. Okay. So that's kind of awkward. For sure. So the question is, what's going to come in now? Lapras, probably. Thick, that's probably Lapras, right? Oh, that's Togekiss. Okay. So with Tailwind being up, they are both faster than me. I think I protect Torkoal here. And then max Hailstorm into Togekiss. Because I'm guessing Togekiss is their max target here. With how they're playing us. They actually switched the Pelipper out, which is fine. Into Miles. What's Miles? Miles is Galvantula. Okay. Max Togekiss. Yep, that's what I expected. Okay. So we'll get an idea of what this Togekiss set is. And by Hailstorming into it as well, we're actually not in a terrible spot. If we do get the chip on the Galvantula, then actually it's not terrible because we break its Sash. So we're going to see here. Obviously this Togekiss is faster, so it's probably going to Airstream. But we are going to protect Torkoal here, just to be on the safe side. I almost Lava Plumed into the Buzzwhat. There's the Airstream. This won't kill me because we're sashed. So he's about to find that out now. Alright. And because we're +1 attack, I think this Togekiss just dies. I don't see how you survive this. Oh, you're physically bulky. Okay, that's good to know. That's actually very, very important to know here. Okay, and you are Policy, which is a little annoying. But I don't think we can worry too much about that. Okay, so we do break the Sash on the Galvantula, assuming this is sashed. And Pheromosa is going to drop to the Hail, which is perfectly okay. Alright. And now I think we just go Thunderous. Because I don't think this Togekiss can really touch my Thundurus. Even at +2. And being Assault Vested, I also have a good chance of living. So, I think we fire off a Lava Plume here. Do I Lava Plume? Oh, I probably should have put Heat Wave on this thing. Okay. Because I can't protect Thundurus here. In that case, we'll just Earth Power into the Galvantula, I think. Oh, actually, no, I can switch Torkoal out. Let's switch Torkoal into Lilligant. And then Wild Charge into Togekiss, I think. Because I want to get rid of Togekiss if I can. We've got Pelipper still in the bag. Oh, that's a point, actually. I probably should keep Thundurus. I think what I should have done there was switch Torkoal out and then switch Thundy out. So we're going to bring Torkoal back in case he tries to bring Rain out again. Alright. Evangeline goes for Thunder. Okay, we're Assault Vested. We should be fine on this. Yeah, that does a lot, actually. An Airstream into Lilligant. Good play. Okay. We are going to get our Sun back up, though, which is nice. Alright, Wild Charge is going to pick up the kill. So, that's actually good for us. We are going to take Recoil, though. So, that might put us in range of the Thunder from Galvantula. It's a damage roll. It's close. Okay. Kind of awkward. But, yeah, we are going to go back into our Torkoal, then. So, here comes the Pelipper. And here comes the Torkoal. So, Pelipper is going to try to Drizzle here. But, it's not going to work because Torkoal takes priority as it's slower. So, this was the other reason I wanted to keep the Torkoal in the back. Because now it means it's in Sun. Which means that if any of these have, like, super accurate moves, then it's kind of a hard time for them. We are going to Solar Beam into Pelipper. How do I want to play this? I guess I should actually just Lava Plume. Because if I knock out Galvantula, we're in a great spot. And then Wild Charge the Pelipper. Because Pelipper is going to be slower than Thundurus, so if Galvantula doesn't land its move, then I think Thundy would kill. Although the Pelipper could also be sashed. But if it is sashed, the Lava Plume kills. So, yeah. I feel like Lava Plume was a mistake bring. I should have bought Heat Wave. I forgot about Lava Plume hitting a teammate. Goes for the Thunder and connects it. Does this kill me? It does. So that's an unfortunate roll there. That's not what I wanted. Gunk Shot. Interesting. Physical Pelipper much? Well, that's a dead Galvantula, so that's huge for us, actually. And we do burn the Pelipper, which is even better here. Okay. So now I can just fire off Solar Beams. No Tailwind anymore. Oh, that actually mattered, because the Tailwind would have meant the Pelipper was faster than me. So we're going to fire off a Solar Beam. Because that's going to be our hardest hitting move. What else do you have on this Pelipper? Hurricane. I actually managed to connect that. That's interesting. Is that a crit? Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me I'm losing to hacks again. Okay. I think this probably does a lot. We are max special attack and quiet. I feel like this should do a ton. That did nothing. Wow. Okay. I can always try to go for Protect here. Can I land it? I can, okay. That's good. If we can burn off a Confusion turn, then I think we're in an okay spot here. Because I want to try and get out of Confusion if I can. The problem is, if he connects a Hurricane, then I think I lose. So maybe I go for double protect. Yeah, I'll go for double protect. Can I get out of confusion? That would be really nice. I can. Protect. Beautiful. Okay. We are stalling out our own sun, which is a little unlucky. But we are trying to get it into burn range. And we need one more turn. Okay. Do I even try to triple protect? I don't think I'm gonna get it. I mean, if I do, he dies to burn, right? Unless he has Roost. I'll just go for the Solar Beam. As he finally missed, so we connect the Solar Beam. We do take the game 1. Okay, that was a very, very intense one. That was a lot closer than it should have been. The unfortunate damage roll on the Galvantula, that kind of put me in trouble. That might not have been a damage roll, and I might have miscalced. Wait, I was at 59, it did like 60 plus. No, it may not be a roll. But that's game 1 either way. Pretty intense start. Interesting to see them lead the Rain Duo. Didn't max Kingdra, which is very surprising. So the question here really does come in as to what does he try next. I could try for Trick Room in this game. We could always try that. Like, protect Trick Room on. Or with Indeedee. I don't know how good Indeedee is here, though. I definitely like Torkoal. For sure. What if I lead Torkoal Lilligant? I don't think that's bad, to be honest. Torkoal Lilligant. The problem is, though, I can't kill the Kingdra if I lead that. Unless I bring Pheromosa in the back. I definitely think Thunderous needs to come. The question is, what do I bring as my last? The problem with Indeedee is it's outsped by everything except Lapras. And if I bring this, and then I kind of need to bring Trick Room. Let's try Pheromosa instead. Maybe I should lead Pheromosa again. I don't know. We'll try this. We'll see what the adaptation is. I definitely think Scolipede comes out this time, though. So that's something I need to worry about. Alright. Let's see how this plays out. Alrighty then. Siren and Thick. That is Togekiss Lapras. Okay, this is actually a good lead for me. So we know this Togekiss is policy. So this is not terrible for us. So because we know this is policy, I kind of like the idea of max overgrowth into Lapras and then sleep powder into Togekiss. Because I think Lapras maxes here, right? Although it would be kind of bad to max Lapras if it's not policy. Because if I can get a sleep powder on Togekiss and it maxes here, I think we're in a really good spot. We are wide lens as well, so it is like 85% accurate instead of 75. I think it's 10% boost, so it's like 82.5%. It's a little better. Ashley switches Togekiss out, so whatever's coming in is probably going to get slept. That's Pelipper. Okay. I actually like that play a lot. I like that play a lot, especially if Lapras maxes and Geysers here. That's a really good play. Yeah. Ooh, I messed up here, I think. Although it depends, right? Because if he resonances into Lilligant instead, then I can just protect Torkoal next turn. And because we're overgrowthing as well, we're not in a terrible spot here. But yeah, that was a good max. I did consider sleep powdering Lapras here. But we're gonna commit our max. I could have max guarded Torkoal in case of the switch. And then I can max Flare next turn. Maybe I should have gone for that. I don't know. This Overgrowth is going to do a chunk to this Lapras, though, because Lapras, of course, is not in the best spot to take this. Obviously, the Resonance is going to be a problem, as we do unfortunately miss the Sleep Powder, which definitely sucks. He did go for Resonance instead, so Litigan's going to go down here. Definitely unlucky. But probably not necessarily the worst. Alright. Because I can now bring in Thunderous. Okay, that didn't do a lot. This is definitely bulky. Alright. So I think now I just bring Thunderous out. Or do I bring out Pheromosa? No, I like Thunderous more. Thunderous hits both. And because I'm faster, this Pelipper really doesn't want to stay in anymore. I think we max Quake into Lapras here, and then Wild Charge. The question is, does both of this kill the Lapras? I think it might, so we'll go for it. We should be faster than both anyway, because Lapras max speed is not fast. It is going to outspeed Torkoal, but it's not going to outspeed Thunderous. The problem is I'm going to take the Geyser first, and that's probably the thing I probably should have protected against. I could also have max flared this turn. No protects. That is not doing any damage. That's a little worrying. He is going to Tailwind. That feels like a wasted turn. Gonna Resonance again. He's gonna kill my Lapras. Oh, my Thundy. I don't know if this kills. Not quite. Okay, so we're gonna max Quake now. Really not doing a lot of damage. This Resonance is definitely hurting me. So we misplayed this game. Pretty badly, actually. Alright. So, I definitely want to max Flare this turn, I think. I want to try and take away some of this damage. I could switch Thundy out here, but then Pheromosa's taking a hit, and I don't know if I'm comfortable about that, so we'll just Wild Charge into Pelipper. I should have Wild Charged Pelipper last turn, honestly. We're actually still faster than this Pelipper. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so we actually do pick up the kill, which is good. Alright. Question is, what did you go for? Geyser, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. I don't think I take this. Oh, we ate it. We ate it. That's actually good for us that we ate that. Okay, so we're gonna get a flare off. So we're gonna take away the rain, which is pretty good news for us. And we're also gonna put ourselves in a position to Solar Beam next turn. So he does have Tailwind up, so I do need to watch out for that. But yeah, the fact that this is a bulky Lapras is kind of problematic. But we are going to bring Pheromosa out here. So, did he bring Kingdra in the back? Yep, thought so. Alright. So, what do I do here? So, because Tailwind is up... how many turns of Tailwind are there? Wait, is Tailwind even up? 2 turns, okay. I'm down to just protect Torkoal here. And then try and kill this Lapras. I'm also down to double protect to try and stall out a turn of Tailwind. Okay. So let's see what you went for. Ice Shard to break my Sash. Makes sense. And Surf, interestingly. Oh, very nice. I like that play a lot. Very nice play. Okay. That's really cool. I like that tech. Okay. So now we know what he's planning on doing here. I'm down to then just solar beam into the Lapras slot. And I definitely feel like I need a close combat, but I want to protect again. And we do get it, which is really good. Game of double protects is very, very helpful for us, as he goes for the same play again. We are stalling out our own Sun, which definitely sucks, but we're gonna get some chip on this Lapras. Yeah, Lapras is back at full. This is not fun. Whew. That's in Sun as well. And it's Life Orb. Okay. Good to know that that's Life Orb. Okay. In fact, it being Life Orb is probably really bad for me now. Okay, that's a 2-hit KO, so not terrible. Alright, so that is now Tailwind gone. So that is what we were aiming for. We're aiming to stall out the Tailwind. So now my Pheromos is faster. Which means what I want to do here then is Solar Beam into Lapras and close combat, I think. I mean, he's probably going to kill me either way, right? So maybe I should try and target down the Kingdra. What's my play here? Yeah, I definitely think getting rid of Kingdra is going to be better. So I'm down to Solar Beam into the Kingdra, and I'm down to Close Combat into Kingdra. I think if we can get rid of Kingdra here, we're in such a great spot. Siren protects, so we actually got a good read here. So we're going to hit a Close Combat. This is going to tickle. Okay, good damage. Not as good damage as I would like, but good damage. As Kingdra goes for Surf. Unfortunately, the Water Absorb doesn't work when you Surf, so something to bear in mind. We are going to lose our Torkoal here, which is a little unlucky. Alright. Okay, so we definitely lose this game either way. So I'm down to just Close Combat into Kingdra. Let's try the Ice Shard. This probably knocks me out, to be honest. Yeah. Alright, so 1-1. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we definitely didn't play this game too well. So how do I want to play this differently? How do I want to play this differently? So I know kind of what he wants to do here. It seems that Scolapede's probably never coming out. So that's something. I would love to try and play around Trick Room here, I think. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. We'll try and play around Trick Room here. So let's bring in DD and Lilligant, maybe? Yeah, I actually like... Oh, he disconnected for some reason. Let me be right back. I don't know if that was my end or not. We will just reconnect up. Alright then guys, we're back. Sorry about that. For some reason the servers decided to disconnect us. We don't quite know what happened there. Neither of us kind of knew. So we will just quickly redo these battle rolls. It's only one game, so no big deal. There. Alrighty. So, as I was saying before we disconnected, I kind of want to try Trick Room on this matchup. Because I do think his team revolves around speed. So, if I can play around his speed, then I think we're in a good spot here. So we're definitely going to lead in DD and Lilligant, I think. I think we bring Torkoal in the back, and I definitely think we need Thunderous. I think this is definitely our play. The question is, do we max Torkoal or not? I don't think so. I'd like to max Thunderous if I can. But I'm not sure maxing Thunderous is the play. So he's taking his time on this one, and I can definitely understand why. We are going to bring our final Trick Room mode. To see if we can outplay this. Because obviously his speed tiers is the thing that makes this awkward because of Tailwind, right? So if we can play around the Tailwind, I think we're fine. So something that was worth noting is that my Lilligant outsped everything on this team without Tailwind up. So that means that Thunderous is faster than everything. So yeah, interesting. So I'm not sure if this Pelipper even has any speed. Because if the fact that Thunderous was outspeeding Pelipper when Tailwind was up is definitely awkward. But we're gonna try Trick Room here. We'll see if we can bring the Trick House out to play. It'd be interesting to see if he leads a Rain, Pelipper, and something else. So let's see what he goes for. Good luck, Hardwings. It's been a pleasure. It is indeed the Lapras and the Togekiss again. So this lead did go pretty well for him last time. But we're gonna try a little bit different here. Alright. So this time, we are going to go for Trick Room. And yeah, I definitely think we Trick Room Sleep Powder Lapras. Because the Resonance is a problem. I could Protect here, actually. I probably should have protected there. But we are going to still go for this. He's definitely got Pelipper in the bag. The question is what else. So he is going to commit his max. Is he maxing this time? Lapras or Togekiss? It's Togekiss. So we didn't get the correct max this time either. So that was a good switch up on his part. The downside to this play for him, though, is that I'm going to get Trick Room up. Because if he Airstreams into Lilligant, then we're fine. He forgot about Psychic Terrain. Oh, no, he didn't. Ooh, I like this. iShard ping into self-priority. Moral of the story, guys. If you get the priority correct, you can self-priority in Psychic Terrain, but you can't priority on your opposing team. So he does actually Airstream into... That is Lilligant, right? Yeah, so that was kind of an unfortunate play for him, because now you got a Speed Boost and I've got Trick Room. So now this is where it gets interesting. Okay. Now let's see how well we can play this. So Lapras is sleeping. So let's go into Torkoal then. So because this Togekiss has policy, we definitely do need to watch out for this thing's damage. So I definitely want our Expanding Force. And try and hit this as hard as possible. And I do like just max flaring. If we can get a Sun off, it's going to be so good. Okay, Lapras switches out, which is fine. Into the Pelipper. So he thought he was going to get Rain Up. But unfortunately, I'm going to deny that. Maybe I should have Helping Handed. And then, yeah, I probably could have Helping Hand max flared into Togekiss there, but yeah, that's fine. So the max flare is going to do less damage because obviously the rain's up, but then they're going to reset up Sun, so it's probably not the worst play for me here. It's not going to do too much. Did nothing, to be honest. Kind of unfortunate, but we're going to get the sun back up. And we're going to get an expanding force off. This is going to tickle. Look at that damage, and that's with no special attack investment. Phantasm? Ooh, interesting. So another one of those is going to kill me. Does this thing get Shadow Ball? I actually didn't know that. So we're going to expanding force, I think. Oh, you know what we can do? We're going to ally switch. Predicting him to Phantasm again. And then flare into the Togekiss. Oh, he has Wide Guard. I mean, that's not gonna help, because I'm not expanding forcing here. But interesting tech. Alright. Now the question is, did he read into my ally switch? Another flare is gonna pick up the KO here. He actually max flares into Torkoal, so we got a perfect read here. That is so much still, though. Alright, so Togekiss' max is over. And we still have one turn left. So I think what we do here, then, is max flare into Togekiss, and then expanding force. I mean, I guess he could go for Wide Guard again. That could be a problem. But I feel like you have to double up. I feel like you have to make this play. Yeah, no Wide Guard this time. So we're probably going to pick up the double kill here. Yeah, Togekiss is gone. I could have brought Steelix here. Not going to lie to you. Gong Shot does not pick up the kill. I do get poisoned, which kind of sucks. But that's not the hugest deal, because this expanding force is now single target. So this Pelipper's going to die. Alright, so no more rain. So we have a sleeping Lapras to contend with. We do unfortunately die to the poison there, which is a little unlucky, but our max was over anyway. So we pretty much did everything we wanted there. So now we bring out the Thunderous. It's Kingdra and Lapras, so okay. So I think what I do here, I mean, Kingdra is definitely a problem because it's Life Orb. And the thing is, it's gonna hit me first, right? Because it's slower. I just don't want Lapras to wake up. I don't think it's had a sleep turn yet, right? So it shouldn't wake up this turn. So I think what we do then is we expanding force and Wild Charge. He protects, good play, but we are still gonna get chip damage on the Lapras. Yep, Lapras burns until on asleep. So we are going to get an expanding force off. Kingdra obviously protects, which is fine. I still did a good chunk. Fortunately, the Wild Charge should have gone into Lapras there, but it didn't. So Trick Room is now ended. And Psychic Terrain is now ended. So we definitely want to try and deal with this. Well, I guess what I can actually do here then is Helping Hand Wild Charge into Lapras. We can definitely pick up the kill here. The problem is I don't think Kingdra can really do that much to me. Obviously it's Surf. And as it's Life Orb, it's probably got something else as well. I mean, Expanding Force is just not going to do a lot of damage anymore because the terrain is over. But we're actually in a very, very good spot. We are going to get a Helping Hand Wild Charge off. This should kill the Lapras for sure. As yeah, we are faster, which is good news. This should kill. Yeah, Lapras is gone. Alright. So the question is, how much can you do to my Thunderous? Surf. This is Sun reduced. Yeah, it really does nothing. Alright. So now we are out of Sun. This does make this a little trickier. But I don't know if you can actually kill both of my Mons here. I could also fly Thunderous here. So ally switch is no point. So I think we actually go for the fly. And just expanding force into the Kingdra. Because he does protect, so we actually do get a good read here. Because now he has to go for double protect next turn, so we're going to get a fly off here. We're going to disappear. The expanding force is obviously not going to do any damage, but that's fine. He just gave me 3 additional recovery, which is nice. We are fully Spadef and DD, so we do take these hits relatively well. I definitely think we can Helping Hand here. I actually just like going for damage. Let's just go for damage here, because you can't protect. Well, you can go for the double protect. But yeah. But it depends how much damage he thinks he can do. I don't know if the Surf kills me. Okay, we're gonna get the damage off. This is gonna do a lot. Yeah, not bad damage. Okay, here's the Surf. Does this kill my Thunderous? It does not. So, the question is, how much does Expanding Force do? I think this is a wrap for us. Yeah, this is a wrap. Alright, not bad at all. That was a great series either way. Just for the funsies, we're gonna give the kill to Thunderous, I think. We're just Expanding Force. He could protect, but there's no point. Yeah, he's just gonna give me the win. Wow, what a great series, Hot Wings, dude. That was a very, very interesting match. Weather Wars are always tricky to play around. And if you don't play around them very well, then you don't generally struggle. Definitely in Game 2, I didn't play that well. But Game 3, I definitely brought it back. So, great series, Hot Wings, dude. Of course, as always, guys, all of the coaches will be linked in the description down below. So go check out Hot Wings, go sub to his channel and all the other coaches down below. Next week, we are up against... I forgot to look because I'm stupid. I always forget to do this. I really should get better at this. Let me look at the schedule. Week 3, I play the Nidorenas, which I believe is Midnight Wolf, right? That is, and Midnight Wolf's got a really interesting team, so I'm looking forward to that match. But either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Rabombi Teacher. I'm your coach of the Royal Bomber for Bombies. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.